How's it going, everybody? Nerds Rising here, and welcome back to the Nerd Cave. In today's video, we are finally going to be taking a look at my push to Legend in the Element Remix Cup. Now, I know not everyone is a fan of these little cups, and honestly, I'm not either. They're a little bit rock, paper, scissors-y. Like, if you get counter on the lead and you get counter on the swap, there's just really not a lot you can do sometimes, especially since there's only 3 main typings in this cup. But I knew that I wasn't going to be hitting Legend in the Open Master League, and that's really the only other option right now, and I'm definitely not going to be expending a lot of resources into the Catch Cup. Honestly, pretty ridiculous that it's the last 2 weeks, even the last 3 weeks, honestly, of the season have just been really dumb, in my opinion. I don't get why they put all the Great League at the beginning of the season, and then they had a lot of different cups that I really wasn't a big fan of, and then they're ending the season with 2 straight weeks of Master League, the Element Cup, and then the Catch Cup. So I don't really know what's going on there, but I knew this was basically going to be my last chance to hit Legend. So I was on PvPoke, I was looking at the sims, and I discovered that Lileep is a very strong closer. And I had a very high ranked Lileep that I powered up, and it's a rank 7, so it's very bulky, and if you can use it correctly, guys, it can go on an absolute rampage, as you saw in the intro. So the goal with this team is going to be use Vulpix on the lead, as it's very spammy, and our goal with the Vulpix is going to be to try to get the opponent's shields early. And I don't necessarily need a shield advantage for my Lileep. A shield advantage is obviously amazing and it helps out a lot, but if we can just get shields down, Lileep can close very strongly. And Dewpider's role is going to be basically the meat shield of the team. It's very bulky and it has very neutral play as well, and it can tank hits for days. So I'll be using that on the safe switch, and oftentimes just to bring it in to just basically sacrifice it. So that's going to be the goal of the team. And the nice thing about Lileep is that its rock subtyping allows it to resist normal type moves. And there's a ton of Body Slam users out there, and Body Slam is a very good move. So the fact that we can resist normal typing is huge. And honestly, I actually really do like that, because rock is typically a very bad defensive typing in the Great League and the Ultra League, but in this cup, it's very good. So I was able to use this team just as planned, which is actually very surprising, because a lot of times, you know, you'll sim a team on PvPoke and think, wow, this looks really strong, and then you'll use it and you'll get absolutely handled. So it was nice to actually succeed for once. And as you see there, we went up from 26, I believe 89 in the last video, to 30-67 using primarily this team. So let's take a look at the battles and let's see what I was able to pull off with this team. And this is, guys, this is such a good intro. I'm not even gonna stop it, but we gotta get our background moving here. There we go, very nice. All right, let's get into the battles. So in the first battle, we've got a Vulpix on the lead versus a Skrelp, and this is a pretty bad lead, so we're gonna switch right away into Dewpider. Dewpider doesn't have an amazing matchup here, but again, Dewpider is the meat shield of the group. So what I do here is I throw my Bubble Beam on the CMP tied to the Sludge Bomb, and I'm hoping the opponent has lost count and that he'll shield this. I do respect the Sludge Bomb because it would do huge damage, but I'm really hoping he shields this, even though I don't have enough energy for the Mirror Coat. But the opponent knows better, and he doesn't shield, and then he switches out, and he brings in his own Lileep, and this one's a Shadow, so this is going to hit very hard. So we're just going to get this Bubble Beam off right away to start debuffing them. And I know that even though we debuff them, this Ancient Power will still probably KO. But this debuff's going to be very important, because what we're going to do here is we're going to come in with our own Lileep, and we're going to farm down all the way with Infestation. It's going to be super effective. Not typically a very powerful move, but since it's super effective, as you see, it's doing some decent damage there. And since he's debuffed, I'm going to tank a move here. I know it's still going to hurt, but I'm going to come out of here with a ton of energy. And if the opponent wants to bring back in their Skrelp, we're going to have a lot of energy to throw at it. So let's see what they decide to do. And they actually come in with a Shadow Exeggcute, so very cool. But these Infestations are now going to be double super effective. And we have a lot of energy, so we should definitely be able to get at least 2 moves off here. We throw one more Infestation, we throw our second Ancient Power. It'd be great to get the second shield here. Let's see what he does. And he actually lets it go. So what I'm going to do is come in right away with my Vulpix. And I think the opponent makes a mistake here. He wanted to stay in and get off his... Sorry, I can't speak. He wanted to stay in here and get this Ancient Power off. But what he's done is he's given my Vulpix a very nice energy lead. And now we're going to be able to outpace this Skrelp to 2 body slams, because the Skrelp threw his Sludge Bomb right away, so he's energy dry. And because of that, we get to 2 body slams, and we're going to take this out. And the Exegcute's very low in the back, and 1 quick attack should take care of it. And a very good game 1. I think if the opponent switched right away into that Skrelp after my second Ancient Power, he probably could have taken me out with Water Guns there. But anyway, good game, and we've got a Chikorita on the lead, so a good lead here. And the opponent brings in their own Vulpix, and this is a very common safe switch you guys are going to see in this meta. I'm sure you've already seen them everywhere. And we're going to stay in here because we don't really want to bring in either one of our mons right away. I'm hoping that I can get a shield off the opponent in this matchup. I do decide to shield one move here, so I'm just going to shield the first one. Doesn't really matter which one I shield. And I'm hoping that by shielding, I will tempt the opponent into shielding as well. Unfortunately, the opponent does win CMP, which is a little unfortunate. But that's okay. We can tank this. And I'm hoping that since I shielded, the opponent will read that maybe I'm weak in the back, and he will commit a shield as well. Because again, I don't necessarily need a shield advantage, but I do need to start getting shields down for my Lileep to have any chance to sweep here. And the opponent, I don't know if he lost count of my energy there, but he's actually going to let us take him out here, and he doesn't shield. So now we have switch advantage still, which is very nice. And honestly, switch advantage doesn't help me a ton because both of my back mons can do decently well against the Chikorita. So I actually just switch out right away because I don't want to give whatever mon they came in with an energy lead on that Vulpix. So I safe switch into the Lileep, and I get the boost. So now Lileep's going to absolutely terrorize this back line. And I think I do shield, and unfortunately I do get baited. I thought, I'm boosted. There's no way he baits, but he does bait. But since we're boosted, this Grass Knot should not KO. We should barely live it. And we do. And the opponent's not switching out, you might notice. So what do they have in the back? I'm thinking they're going to be weak to Lileep in the back. Are we going to see a Lileep sweep already? Let's see. Ancient Power takes out the Chikorita, and they've got a Seel in the back. And because we're boosted, we survive the licks. And is this Grass Knot going to one-shot? I think it is. Seel is a very bulky mon, but Grass Knot destroys it. And that is going to be a very good game. So into the next battle here, we've got a Vulpix on the lead into Dewpider. And guys, I could probably make an entire video just featuring Dewpider leads because I saw so many of them. So after playing them, the way I like to do it is I like to build up a little extra energy, throw my Weather Ball right as they're reaching their Bubble Beam, and then I'm going to bring in my own Dewpider to absorb this damage. And the opponent does throw. I don't necessarily think it was a catch. I think he's just trying to debuff us here, but we get the Dewpider to half health already, and we still have a little leftover energy on our Vulpix. So they bring in a Shadow Oddish, so a very cool pick. And I'm going to bait with Bubble Beam here. I'm thinking there's no way the opponent doesn't shield this because Shadow Oddish is very, very glassy. And sure enough, he does shield. And this is big now. Since he's debuffed, our Vulpix can come in here and resist these Shadow Razor Leafs. And I think if the opponent sends the Sludge Bomb and doesn't bait, I should be able to farm all the way down and not have to shield a second move. So let's see what he does here. And he does go straight for the Sludge Bomb, so this is huge. So now we're just going to commit to a full quick attack farm down, and we get it. And now we have over 2 moves loaded, and the opponent brings in their own Vulpix here. And this Vulpix is not going to appreciate all this energy that we have stored here. And it's a Shadow as well, so it's going to be taking even more damage. So I'm going to get this last shield right here, and the opponent's going to have a tough decision to make. Do they want to get this? They do. They give up their last shield. And unfortunately here, we do lose CMP to the next Body Slam. But what I'm realizing here is that Dewpider is at half health. He's in Ancient Power range, so I'm actually going to shield this, knowing that I can take this Vulpix out and then switch into my Lileep right away and outpace the opponent to this Ancient Power. And honestly, even if the opponent gets to a Bubble Beam, I think that we're still going to KO it here since it's so low. And either way, we win CMP there. And we're going to take this out, and that's going to be another Lileep sweep there. And honestly, I guess Lileep really wasn't the star of that game. It was mainly Vulpix that put in work there. But either way, a good game. So moving into the next battle here, we've got a Barboach, a shiny Barboach too. And this is very cool, but very scary for a Vulpix. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to build it to 5. I tried to catch a Mud Bomb there, but the opponent stays in and throws energy anyway, and everything is resisted here. And he actually goes for the resisted Ice Beam, so not sure if he was just unfamiliar with our typing there, but he wastes a lot of energy, and I'm actually thrilled by that. And unfortunately, we bring our Dewpider in, and we do get outpaced, but I know Dewpider's pretty tanky. It can tank this, even on a Shadow, and we're going to get our Bubble Beam off still, so there was really no reason to shield that, in my opinion, because if I shielded, I simply would get outpaced to the second Bubble Beam, and I knew I could survive that and still get off my move. So unfortunately, the opponent doesn't shield. And as you guys know, we really like to get shields down. So I'm going to really do my best here to get shields off the opponent. And I believe that I actually am going to commit to a full farm down here. As you see, I didn't throw on the CMP there. I actually snuck a move in as he threw, and because of that, I perfectly farmed down right as he gets to his move. And now, again, we've got a ton of energy on our Vulpix, so I'm thinking this Barboach has to shield one of these body slams, right? He has to. We throw one, the opponent doesn't shield. I'm like, okay, I'll throw the second one. Is he going to shield the second one? I really need to get at least one shield off him so Lileep can sweep. But he doesn't. He just lets it go down. And there's a Shadow Exeggcute back. So typically Lileep has terrible 2-shield matchups. But since it's an Exeggcute, these infestations are double super effective. And they're actually outpacing these Shadow Confusions. And the opponent does not get the boost on that Ancient Power. I think that was his only win con there. So I actually agree with him throwing his move there, but there was no reason for us to throw our move, because by throwing a move, we just allow him to get free energy. So we actually farmed down an Exeggcute there with Infestation. So crazy endgame. And we're moving right into the next battle. We have a Slugma, guys, and this is one of the worst mons you can see on this team, because as you see, we are weak on the lead with Vulpix, and our Dewpider does not want to see this in the back. And the opponent shielded the Body Slam as well, which is really bad. And this was one of the earlier matchups where I saw a Slugma, and I didn't realize there that I couldn't get to a second Body Slam. As you saw, I realized it at the very last second, so I switched out. But my Vulpix is now very low. Fortunately, I brought the Lileep in there, and he actually stayed in. So if he would have switched out there, he could have locked this into our Dewpider in the end game, but he actually stays in, and he lets us take him out. So this is huge. I'm absolutely thrilled that that happened, because honestly, his Slugma may have been able to sweep our entire team. But he stays in, and he does shield his Rowlet that comes in. So now I'm thinking this is probably double Razor Leaf. So what I need to do here is come in with his Vulpix, and I know I'm only one quick attack away from a move, and I think I can survive one Razor Leaf to get to this Weather Ball, and I just barely do. And I knew that if this is double Razor Leaf, if I brought the Dewpider in there, it'd be way too low to take out their second Razor Leafer in the back. So that's why I brought the Vulpix in there, and I'm realizing now this Shadow Oddish is doing so much to us, I can't risk going for the Mirror Coat here, because I likely will get farmed down. So what I'm going to do is just Bubble Beam right away, and I think after this Bubble Beam, I just may be able to outpace this Oddish here, and we do. We barely farm down in time, and the Rowlet's very low in the back, and we take out a Slugma double Razor Leaf team, so very, very close game. That got a little scary, not going to lie. So we see the Shadow Oddish on the lead in the next game, and again, a Vulpix safe switch, guys. Very, very common safe switch, and we're going to play this out the same way. I'm hoping that we can get shields off of this Vulpix, and the opponent actually gives up the shield right away. So now I'm actually going to bring in the Lileep right away and save that Vulpix to line it up with the Oddish later on. And Lileep has a pretty nice matchup here because we're resisting those quick attacks, so we're not in danger of being farmed down here. I do respect the second one. I don't think it would quite KO, but he probably would be able to farm us down. And now we're just going to start spamming off these Ancient Powers, and we'll have to see what the opponent decides to do here. Is he going to give up his last shield? And he actually doesn't. He lets it go. But I think that we're going to get to another Ancient Power here on this Oddish. And sure enough, our rank 7 IVs come in clutch there, and we survive that Razor Leaf on 1 HP. And we get our move off, and it almost takes out the Oddish, so that's huge. And now we can come in with our Vulpix, and they've got a Clauncher in the back. So another Rock-type fast move user, and this thing is running smackdown, so this is going to get pretty scary. But the opponent lets the Body Slam go, and that's absolutely huge, because now we can come in with the Dewpider and farm all the way down. We're going to have to shield, but we're going to farm all the way down, and that Oddish is very low in the back. And honestly, I think if the opponent would have shielded that Body Slam, they might have been able to sweep our entire team with that Clauncher. So another crazy game. Again, guys, the Rock-type users are the biggest threat for this team. So close game there. And another Dewpider lead in the next game. Again, I could make an entire video of just these leads. I think I only included a couple, but we're going to play it out the same way. We're going to blip to 6, we're going to throw our Weather Ball, and then we're going to dip into our own Dewpider and absorb this damage. Sometimes they shield, sometimes they don't. This one did shield, which is actually fine by me. I think I would probably prefer the damage, but I'm thrilled to get shields down always for Lileep. But the unfortunate thing is now, if this thing lines itself up with our own Lileep in the back, it's going to be a little scary because those bug bites do a lot of damage. But the opponent brings in a Fomantis, it looks like, and honestly, this is not a very good lead or a good matchup for them. And since I Bubble Beamed right away, we're going to be able to comfortably survive this Leaf Blade and probably force them to throw a second move here if they don't want to get farmed down. And sure enough, they do throw their second move in. Guys, honestly, Mirror Coat is such a bad move on Dewpider. I typically will just go for Bubble Beam straight away because building up to that Mirror Coat just takes so long, and it's just a very weak move. So most of the time you're going to be better just going straight for the Bubble Beam, but the opponent has a Slugma in the back, so this is going to be very close endgame here. And again, the opponent lets it go. That's absolutely huge. And now we can come in with our Lileep. We don't quite farm down. The opponent has given us a chance again. He very well could have swept us again, but he doesn't shield that body slam. And now we're going to have our Lileep on this Dewpider. But this is a little unfortunate because even though we have 2 shields, I'm going to have to shield a Bubble Beam here. And I think after this debuff, this Ancient Power is not quite going to KO. So this is going to come down to the wire here. Can we pull this off? I'm not sure that we're going to get to another Ancient Power here. We don't get the boost as well. And the Dewpider just barely farms us down. And here I'm actually going to... I'll slow this down here in just a second because I want to show you guys something that happened. So I don't shield this because I think that the opponent has a move loaded. But if you look back, I'm not going to rewind. If you look back, the opponent definitely did not have the move. He only had a couple rock throws on us. But what I want to show you is the opponent actually got gypped out of that game because... Let's rewind it here. We're going to tank this Bubble Beam here. You're going to see. And then the Slugma is going to come back in here. And as you see, we're very low. And Rock Throw and Quick Attack are both 2-turn moves. So they should be going at the same speed here. But something that happens in this game, sometimes it's called, you might hear other content creators refer to it as the pause. Sometimes for whatever reason, when you switch in, the game gives you a 1-turn delay where your move doesn't go through right away. So what actually happens here is the opponent gets the pause. And as you see, his Rock Throw doesn't go through right away. So he's only able to get 1 Rock Throw off in the time we get off 2 Quick Attacks. So we actually are able to farm him down before he farms us down. And that game actually should have been a tie. So the opponent got gypped out of that game because Niantic sucks, basically. So anyway, next game, we've got a Vulpix lead. And I did see quite a few Vulpix leads as well. And we're just going to stay in and play this out and hopefully get a shield or 2 off this opponent. So let's see what he does. He lets the first one go. So I'm also going to let the first one go because I know I can survive. But the opponent actually makes a mistake here. He overfarms a bit too much. And he actually goes 1 over the back-to-back body slams. And what this does is it allows me to win CMP before he can throw his second one. So now I'm going to either force a shield or force the opponent to go down with a full move loaded. And since he does that, I actually decide to save my Vulpix and bring in the Dewpider to tank this energy, because Dewpider just tanks damage so much better than some of these other mons. So as you see, that doesn't even do half, and now we've got a shield advantage, and a shield advantage is always looking very good for our Lileep and back, and the opponent brings in a Bulbasaur. Does he want to give up the second shield, or is he going to let his Bulbasaur get hit with the Mirror Coat? And he does. He gives up the second shield. So now you guys know what's happening. We are primed and ready for a Lileep sweep. We're going to let this go, and we're going to give Lileep 2 shields and see what it can do. I believe I do bring back in the Vulpix here just to force the opponent to dump their energy, and sure enough, he's going to do exactly that. He only has to go for the Seed Bomb here, but he's going to dump his energy, and now we've got Lileep with 2 shields against the world. What can we pull off here? We are going to start shielding. No sense in not, because if the opponent had like a heavy fast move pressure in the back, we could get farmed down, but the opponent's staying in. We're going to get this Ancient Power off. I did slightly over farm. What is going to be in back? Can we one-shot it with Lileep? And it's a Fomantis, and Fomantis is very glassy, and it is not going to appreciate these infestations or this Ancient Power, because Ancient Power is actually not a terrible move anymore. And look at that, we almost one-shot it, and one more infestation is going to take care of it. And that is a good game, and another Lileep sweep. In the next game, we've got a Wooper lead, and this is one of the worst leads, honestly, that we can see here. So what I'm going to try to do here is build up to 5, and try again to catch a Mud Bomb onto my Dewpider. And again, opponent's doing a very nice job of holding onto their Mud Bombs here. But again, the opponent's actually staying in and throwing a move, so I'm more than happy to let this happen. And Body Slam, as you see, doesn't really do too much there. So the opponent looked like banked a Body Slam there, and he's going to bring his own Dewpider in. And again, I really think that the Bubble Beam is just better to throw than the Mirror Coat, because we're debuffing them right away, and this is going to give us more time to get more Bug Bites off on this opposing Dewpider, because Mirror Coat is just very bad. So honestly, I think it's just better in most situations to just go straight for Bubble Beams, because as you see, we have gotten this thing very, very low already. And we want to get rid of this thing because we really don't want our Lileep to fight it. And as you see, it's double debuff now. that Mirko did so little damage, it was laughable. So we overfarm a little bit, and it looks like I might actually try to commit to a farm down here, because I know this thing is double debuffed, so this Bubble Beam is not going to do a lot of damage, and I do believe I should be able to farm down. And look at that, I'm going to farm down, and I'm going to come out with 100 energy, and instead of throwing that debuffed energy, I actually switch in the Lileep right away, thinking the opponent was going to throw right away, and he does, and we catch the resisted body slam, and they've got a Shadow Vulpix in back. And again, I don't love Lileep in the 2v2 shield, but we have so much energy on our Vulpix, it doesn't really matter, because we nearly have 3 body slams loaded. So all I need to do here is start getting shields with these moves, and our Vulpix is going to be able to clean up the back line. So we're going to throw the first one, we get a shield, and honestly, at this point, I know I can survive another one, so I'm probably just going to save my last shield for the Vulpix, and that's exactly what I do. And I'm really hoping that the opponent actually lets this go, thinking, oh, I've got a Wooper into their Vulpix, this is going to be game over. So, but what you're going to see is this Wooper may not know how much energy we have. They let it go, and now we've got Vulpix versus Wooper. Who is going to win? We're almost at 3 body slams. We throw the first, we get the shield. The opponent is now shieldless. We get our quick attack through, and now we have the back-to-back body slams loaded, and the opponent is not at a move yet. We throw our first, and as you saw, the mud shot goes through, so this is not a CMP tie. He's not at the move. We're going to throw our second one, and another mud shot goes through, so this is not a CMP tie, and we're going to take it out. And Vulpix coming back for that Wooper. Very good game. I did see a couple Wooper leads, and honestly, they're pretty tough to deal with. We've got a Seel in the next battle, and honestly, Seals are pretty tough to deal with as well, but this is actually an Ice Shard Seel, which is a lot better for us since we're resisting that fast move. So what we're going to do here, build up a lot of energy and start spamming off these body slams, and I'm hoping I can get at least one shield here. And then my goal is going to be to try to catch this next Aqua Tail on my Dewpider. So I throw the body slam, I don't get a shield, but I know I should at least get a shield on the second one, because if they don't shield, it'll probably nearly KO them. So I throw it, they do shield, and now I'm going to throw one more quick attack, and I catch the Aqua Tail on my Dewpider, and Dewpider doing what Dewpider does best, and that is being a meat shield, and that Aqua Tail does nothing, and they bring in a Tepig, and Tepig honestly is not a great response to Dewpider, but this one actually looks like it's running Tackle, so very cool, but Tackle is non-stab, and it's not going to be doing quite as much damage as an Ember would. So what I'm hoping here is that I can Bubble Beam, get his shield, and then hopefully get to a second one. The opponent does shield, which is nice, but it looks like we may just barely get farmed down, and we barely do, so that's unfortunate. But now, we've got shields down, and Lileep with shields down does absolutely amazing. So we bring in the Vulpix, we're just going to use it to absorb this damage, and we're going to give our shields to Lileep, and they actually go for a Flame Charge for some reason. Probably should have just Body Slammed, but I'll take it. Maybe they expected me to shield, I'm not sure. But we're going to take this out, and we're going to switch right away into our Lileep, and let's see what they have waiting for us in the back. It's an Omanite, so what a cool pick. I think I only saw one, I think I only saw one of those. But Omanite is not going to be appreciating our double super effective Grass Knot. So we overfarm slightly, and we take out the Seel, and we've got a shield, and let's see what we can do. This poor Omanite has no idea what's coming to it. We're going to hit it with the Grass Knot, and honestly, Grass Knot is probably enough to take out like 3 Omanites. So we are debuffed, we throw the Grass Knot, and we only go to a nice, and we still one-shot it. So very nice game there. Lileep sweeping yet again. So good game. Whew. Man, these battles go so fast, guys. These mons are so glassy. These battles just fly by. So we've got a Shadow Slowpoke in the next battle, and we switch into our Dewpider, because those bug bites do a ton, and I knew he was going to switch out, but I know that my Lileep can do good against this Slowpoke in the back as well. So they meet our Dewpider with an Ember Tepig. So very nice counting here by the opponent. He throws his move right before we get to another Bubble Beam. But honestly, this is fine, because I can come back in with my Vulpix, and I can farm this all the way down. And even though Slowpoke is going to be coming back in, Shadow Slowpoke is not super bulky, and it's not going to be appreciating these body slams, and by the time we farm this down, we're going to nearly have 2 body slams to throw at that Slowpoke. So we're going to tank this body slam, we know it's debuffed, and now I'm going to throw after one quick attack, and I'm going to throw my body slam in. I know I should be at least getting one shield here. So we're going to throw the first, and do we get the shield? We do, we get the shield. can we get the second shield here? If we get the second shield here, I'm fast swapping into Lileep, and Lileep with 2 shields again is going to go to town. And the opponent stays in, and he's throwing his Psyshock. What does he have in back waiting for our Lileep? Are we going to see another sweep here? And the opponent brings in a Shadow Vulpix. And guys, Shadow Vulpix does not appreciate Ancient Powers from Lileep. Ancient Power one-shots the Vulpix. We've got a shield advantage, and that Slowpoke does not have any energy left. We're going to throw the Grass Knot overkill, and we're going to take it out. And Lileep is going to be sweeping up another back line. And what a game. Guys, again, if you can get shields down, Lileep absolutely terrorizes back lines. Into the next battle, we have a Shadow Exeggcute, and honestly, this thing is amazing for our whole team because our whole team can handle this, but they do bring in a Seel on the safe switch, and this is another pretty common safe switch you're going to see, and the way I like to play this is chip it first with a Body Slam and then bring in Dewpider, because after chipping it, if we wanted to, we could actually Bug Bite all the way down and not throw any energy, but you're going to see me do something a little different, because I know that these Bug Bites are going to be double super effective on that Exeggcute. I actually want to preserve a little bit of health on my Dewpider. That way the opponent's probably going to have to expend some energy in order to take this out. Because if that Exeggcute comes back in, he's going to be faced with a fairly healthy Dewpider, and it's not going to appreciate that fast move. So we do Bubble Beam right away, as you saw. And now we're going to come out with a decent amount of health left. Typically, if we didn't throw a move, we'd come out with very, very low HP. But we're going to have some health, and we're going to throw a Bubble Beam again right away just to debuff their attack. And it's going to be a very difficult farm down. And even though we're double debuffed, look at how much damage we did. We got that below half health from double debuffed Bug Bites. And now, even though he's debuffed, I do respect his moves because this thing does hit very hard. We bring in our Lileep, and unfortunately, they didn't shield anything, so we weren't able to get a shield off of them. But they've got a Slowpoke in the back, and this is still looking okay because Slowpoke is very slow to get to moves. Ironically, I know. But we should be able to get both shields here. We do bait with the Ancient Power, but I'm thinking the opponent's most definitely going to be shielding. And they do. And now we're actually just going to bring in the Vulpix here because what I'm realizing is the opponent's very near Body Slam range, and they actually catch him in a CMP tie here, which is perfect. Does this KO? It just barely doesn't KO, but I believe that we should be able to farm this down. But oh no, actually it looks like I'm going to put this on Lileep. Yes, I am. I'm putting this on Lileep. I'm going to farm down their Slowpoke, shield this, and come out with a move ready for their Exeggcute. I guess I knew that their Exeggcute was energy dry, and I could just farm down with Infestation. And sure enough, we do. We get to the Ancient Power, and I believe that Slowpoke is maybe at 1 HP in the back. So this should be a good game here. So past me playing this a lot better than future me is commentating, we'll just say. Again, these battles go so fast. It's just like, I don't even know what's going on, honestly, guys. We've got a Shadow Vulpix in the next battle. I think this might be the last battle, too. And let's see what happens here. Looks like we're going for a Body Slam straight away. And actually, guys, I think the higher you go, I think it's actually good to throw your moves right away. Because oftentimes what I've noticed is people are so used to over-farming just to throw off people's counts. They almost always don't throw right away. And as you saw, I threw right away, and I got an early shield. And that forces the opponent to make a decision. Because now he realized he was going to have to commit a second shield if he wanted to preserve his Vulpix. So that forces him to give up switch and catch that Body Slam onto his Chikorita. So nice catch. But honestly, this is fine because we're going to Bug Bite this thing all the way down. And honestly, I don't have to shield this if I don't want to. And I don't shield it, and the opponent actually baited with a Body Slam, and he doesn't get to a second move. And this is looking good already, guys, because you know Lileep with a shield advantage can absolutely destroy teams. So let's see what he comes in with here. He comes in with a Bulbasaur, and he doesn't respect the Mirror Coat. One of the rare times I actually go for the Mirror Coat. The opponent doesn't respect it. And now they have Vulpix versus basically my whole team. Here, I actually do shield, just because it's a CMP tie. I know I'm basically going to be forcing that last shield off them. I guess it wasn't a CMP tie, but I knew I could force the last shield off them with this Bubble Beam. And I know that Lileep can comfortably tank a move, and what you're going to see is Lileep can actually comfortably take 2 moves from a debuffed Shadow Vulpix. And we're going to give the honors of winning the last battle to Lileep, and we are going to sweep yet another team. And guys, honestly, the Element Remix Cup is a bit tricky, but I think that Lileep is very, very strong because of its very nice coverage. And as you see there, we take out a fire type with a grass knot, and that is going to be a good game. So thank you guys for watching. I know that, again, the Element Remix Cup is not everybody's favorite, but if you're looking for a strong team to climb, I think that this team has a lot of play. You definitely do need to watch out for the mons that have the rock type fast moves, like the Slugmas and the Claunchers, and also a Dewpider in the back can be kind of tough because those bug bites do chunk. So really, if you're going to use this team, I would recommend running something on the lead that's very spammy. If you're going to use the Vulpix, fine, but you definitely want to use something spammy so that you can get shields down, because if you can get shields down, Lileep will go on an absolute rampage. So anyway, guys, thank you for watching, and if you're enjoying the content, please subscribe to the channel, because as you know, the more subscribers we can get, the more Pokemon my wife will let me play.